This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Good afternoon, Jason Glick. How's it going?
It's going great, John. It's like because we are bringing you this podcast live from the San Jose Marriott.
Yes, that explains all the nice little ambient noise you're listening to right now.
Yes, because for the first time in a long, long while, we are actually in the same room while recording this.
Yes, we're overlooking the beautiful city of San Jose, especially near the convention center because of FanimeCon.
Yes, and God knows how I love this con more than any other con I've been to. Today is best. I mean, what we've encountered today so far has been best described as kind of a clusterfuck.
That's right, exactly. Oh yeah, lines. We can see the lines from here, man.
Yeah, we're on the 18th floor in a corner room, and we can look down and we can see the line for the pre-registration, going in, because apparently there was this huge power outage yesterday, and now they weren't able to get all the massive amounts of people who showed up yesterday to register.
Yep.
So now everyone's having to stand in line, so we're basically dealing with Comic-Con lines.
Yep.
For pre-registration.
Exactly.
But after we're done with this, I made the executive decision to say fuck it, and we're gonna go ahead and get in line anyway.
Exactly. But hey, what a great time to record a podcast, right?
That's exactly it, John.
And along with that, it looks like you brought some manga with you, so
I did.
That's keeping with the theme of fanime.
Yes, because God knows, it would be heretical, blasphemous, or whatever you want to call it, to just not talk about a manga when we're at an anime convention. So, in continuing with what I guess is my blog and the podcast's mission of just talking about every obscure, underappreciated science fiction series, because I'm talking about God knows I love beating the dead horse about how everyone needs to go out and buy a copy of Eden. Talking about Viz's great Bokurano. And also, if I've never talked about it before, there's also Dark Horse's The Two Faces of Tomorrow, a collection of a 12-issue maxi series they did, almost a decade ago, I think, that had a great meta concept in the sense that talking about humans trying to develop artificial intelligence in order to facilitate outer space exploration, but they also figured but these humans are also talking about what happens when the AI goes insane? How do we prepare for that?
How?
Yes. I mean, it had a great meta concept in the sense that, how do we account for the fact that, what if the AI, starts going nuts, and what do we have to do in order to counter that? It's a great setup, great initial execution, but then it eventually descends into the fact that, the AI does go kind of insane, and then we've got to deal with that along the way. Eventually, things do resolve into it's like I said, it's still executed pretty well. It's from Yukinobu Hoshino, who also did 2001 Nights. It's like I said, it's a good read. It has a good old school science fiction series, and the science fiction feel that it's all about the high ideas. The characters are archetypes, and all the men do manly things. The women. The women just fawn over them and go, oh. So, but it's fun, it's entertaining. I just wish it had run with its meta concept a bit more than it did. But here, right now, we're continuing my ongoing quest to get you to buy or illuminate you to the virtues of underappreciated manga sci-fi with Viz's Saturn Apartments. This is a series by Hisai Iwaoka. And it's about window washers in upper Earth atmosphere, because this is a world where basically humans have gone and polluted the Earth to the point where it's virtually uninhabitable, and now everyone's living out on a ring encircling the Earth. Now this leads to its own set of complications, such as immunodeficiency syndrome due to lack of a proper environment, lack of exposure to sunlight, social stratification, because you've got the people living in the higher areas who are just the more well off, and then lower areas who are just we're just kind of the grunts doing all the stuff. It's the setup is. Well, let me get to that later on. And then you have the middle area, which is basically all the bureaucratical stuff, which is basically public areas, schools, whatnot.
Is it? So I assume this has artificial gravity then.
Yes, this isn't a hard sci-fi series. This is basically just we're taking the idea of these are the main characters in the series are part of a window washers guild. because basically, like in upper Earth atmosphere, the windows are still going to be covered with gunk, and so someone still needs to clean them. And these people they're the people who are set out to do this. Now, I talked about this series a while ago on my blog, and I gave like a fairly harsh assessment of the first volume, like a while back. I believe I rectified that in my second post about the second volume. But the thing is, like, Saturn Apartments is basically like a character-driven sci-fi in the vein of Makoto Yukimura's Great Plantis, which is kind of like the bar for which all like character-driven science fiction series like aspire to.
I was going to say it kind of shares the same type of a premise. It deals with people working in space, but as something that is a perceived menial job,
Yeah, then grunt work in space.
Grunt work in space, exactly.
Yeah, and and the thing is, like, Iwaka does actually do, for the most part, does a good job of like fleshing out its cast, giving its characters like goals, ambitions, it's like hopes, desires, like basically stuff that allows us to empathize with them. It's it's like this, I don't know. The thing with the series, I mean, it's good. It does a good job of not really like emphasizing continuity, because while it's for the most part a lot of the stories are kind of just like slice of life one shots talking about how they adapt, how the characters adapt to things. It's like there's also a bit of continuity going on, which I'll get to in a bit, because like I need to back up and talk about how the series focuses on Mitsu. Mitsu is a young kid, just out of middle school. His dad was also a window washer, but he died or disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
And cue ominous music.
Cue ominous music. Yeah, it's like we haven't gotten the full story to his death yet, but I'm willing to bet that we'll find out. We'll get that death in a bit more context as the series goes on. Now, Mitsu, he's gone and joined the same guild Window Washers Guild that his dad did. Now he's learning the ropes from his strict senpai Jun, like an older guy who's just like he's kind of the cranky old. Oh yeah, you're not doing this well enough yet. Like that kind of guy. He'd be played by Tommy Lee Jones in the American version.
He's the seasoned veteran.
Yes, exactly. And you also got Mr. Kageyama, who was kind of like the bald genial. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, hey, don't take this too seriously. It's like he's like the good humored soul of the guild. And there's also and Makoto, who is basically the bitter veteran who is still angry about the fact that one of its former members, Tamachi, who was working with Mitsu's dad, like when he died, was forced out of the guild because of that circumstance. Now Makoto's thing is that for the first couple of volumes, he's taking this out on Mitsu in the sense that, hey, it's like I don't like you. It's like everyone's forgotten about Tamachi, but they're willing to give you a free ride, and I can't accept that. So for the first couple of volumes, he's kind of played well, the first volume, he gives you the sense that he's the antagonist, that he's the villain, but then as things go on, it's like you start to realize he's more of an antagonist, someone who's just kind of opposed to Mitsu's status. And that's kind of like, and I think that Makoto's are kind of like emphasizes the appeal of like, what I like about this series, because even though he was set up to be like someone who's going to say, oh, I don't like you and I'm going to hate you forever, but then we eventually get more nuance to his situation. Like, for instance, we find out like when he's talking with Tamachi and just asking him like, why don't you come back to the guild? Like everyone's forgotten about you, and they're going to give this Mitsu guy a free ride. And then Tamachi's like, it's like I just can't do it. Like, I mean, I've moved beyond this, and just like, the fact that when I was trying to like save Mitsu's dad, like I was pulling on this line that he had, and just nothing was happening. Just like it was just like slack, and then he pulled it up, and there's nothing. His dad wasn't there. So I mean, moments like that, like those are. Like I said, that sort of gives you like humanizes the characters, and also gives you the idea, that Makoto, he's a dick, but still, it's like he's not just like being a dick because the story dictates it. He actually has genuine reasons for that, and also Tamachi, man, he's also even though he's not like one of the regular cast, like he's just he works in the sewage air in the sewage portion of the ring, and now he's just like, but he's also kind of just like focusing on what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to do this do I want to do this, or do I want to actually try to make effort to come back and just like do my former job? He's also got like a huge obsession with eggs because as John knows, I mean, like, tamago, I mean, short for is a Japanese for egg.
Yep.
And it's like, and as we found out in Volume 5, that his family has a huge fetish for egg crafting. Yeah, it's bizarre, but it's cute, and it's like, and you can, it makes sense within the context of the world, but like the whole supporting cast is interesting, including like Sachi, the generally solitary observer of the damage done to the ring, because she's most of the time walking around in her like either in a suit or just just moping around with her long hair. At one point, Mitsu asks, "Wait, are you actually a girl?" And so it's like she's kind of like the shut-in, but she's also a fun character. I mean, like a lot of the characters are generally enjoyable, and the thing is, even though the story is generally episodic, Iwaoka actually does do a good job of utilizing continuity, especially in the fact that like there is like the mystery, like what is the Earth like now? What, and this is actually picked up on one of the main subplot of the series, which has Sota, a recent graduate who actually retained Mitsu's guild to clean the window where he and his wife were married at. It's like he's been recruited by a mysterious guy named not mysterious, a guy with questionable intentions named Mr. Nishimaru, who can't seem to remember Sota's name because he's always trying, Pyota, Mota, Kota. It's like you just look at that, like the guy's obviously got some sort of like hidden agenda here. Like it's not he's got a hidden agenda. It's that he's like more of an ends justifies the means guy, because he's basically employing Sota's mechanical skills to help find a way to get a person to descend to the Earth to find out what they're doing. Problem is, he's more the guy. Once you get down to the Earth, I don't care what you do there. You're just going to tell us what's going to happen, and if you want to get back, hey, you're on your own right there. So it's an interesting situation, and naturally, as these things go, Sota picks Mitsu as like their first potential pilot. Now, Sota believes in this thing wholeheartedly. He's drunk the Kool-Aid on this, but he just hasn't realized that maybe that Nishimaru doesn't have the best intentions for his characters. So I mean, but there are all these little like subplots, such as the effort to find out what's happening on Earth is the primary one, but you've also got Mr. Kagayama, who eventually told has like washing windows has basically ruined his health. Like all the ultraviolet rays you're exposed to, like in the atmosphere, it's ruined his health, and now he's got to stop doing this job he loves, and and also just find a way to make a living after this. And also Jin's wife, who was diagnosed with immunity deficiency syndrome, and how he's having to cope with her, despite his gruff exterior. The character, all the supporting character arcs are well developed, which makes it annoying as hell for the fact that Mitsu is kind of characterized as this like saintly, hardworking, self-sacrificing individual. Basically, like Mitsu is like a lot of times we find out that he wants to know about his dad, but he's also I'm working because I like working, I like washing windows, I enjoy the work, and I'm just going to keep doing that. I mean, he's more or less kind of a vehicle for these other stories to be told. But he has no real strong defining personality beside the fact that he's well-meaning, hardworking, self-sacrificing. And that's kind of disappointing. It's because he's not really he's not really complicated at all. He's more like a symbol, just trying for these stories that are trying to be told. That's not necessarily a bad thing when you've got a strong supporting cast of this and clear story goals, such as finding out what's going on Earth. And to be honest, I guess that having Mitsu as this kind of character makes perfect sense that he would be the kind of person who would volunteer to find out what's on Earth without knowing specifics of am I going to get back to everyone again. So that's one flaw. But another issue that it's kind of like what matter of judgment and all is that Iwaoka has kind of like a drawing style that is really detailed for the most part, in the sense that you're getting all the nuts and bolts of the ring where everyone lives. But you also have these characters who are kind of like oval-shaped characters who don't resemble like real life people. I mean, it's like it kind of their appeal kind of like revolves around an acceptance of artistic license here. Right? I think it works because on one hand, it's like it worked. It's like even though it might seem kind of odd when they're just doing like normal slice of life stuff, it works great when she's emphasizing comedy or even sinisterness. Because like when you see Mr. Nishimaru, I mean, you're going to thinking like, oh, that guy's up to no good. So that's the thing right there. And so the art is kind of a barrier, but I think it works based on what it is. Your mileage may vary, but there you go. Because I mean, like, I think that now I'm up to volume 5, and like the more I read of it, more more she brings in continuity. It's like shows that there's an overarching story to this, to the characters. It's like more I get involved in it. So I know I think that volume 6 might be the final volume. It would be, based on what I've seen so far, it would be a good place to stop. But it's like as it is right now, it's like I don't want to keep buying it. And like I said, this is another underappreciated sci-fi series that I think deserves more sales than whatever it's getting right now. And to be honest, kudos to Viz for putting this out under their Sig Icky imprint. So it's like I said, it's worth. If you like good character-driven sci-fi, it is a great companion piece to Makoto Yukimura's Planetus, the best series that Tokyo Pop ever put out. So it comes highly recommended if you like this kind of stuff. And one day I hope I'll talk about a series that just a sci-fi series that doesn't deserve additional promotion. But there you go.
See, and that's why you have this podcast, is so you can highlight and bring these out and show people, hey, look, people, there's something else out here that's worth what
so reading. I can force my obsessions on other people. You're exactly right,
yes,
John.
Exactly right. Exactly it. All right. And I think that's all the material you had for today, correct?
Pretty much. I mean, next week, well, in 2 weeks, it's like we won't be recording from San Jose, but I will be talking about the first wave of DC's New 52 series.
All right. Cool. New 52 series?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what's that about?
Yeah, you're just embarrassing yourself in front of my entire audience, John.
That's about it.
That's the DC's relaunch that happened last year, where they relaunched all their series from number one issues.
See, it's a refresher.
Yeah. So I got first trade paperbacks and hardcovers are coming out. I'm going to be talking about the first wave of them, including Batman.
All right.
Because everyone loves Batman.
Everybody loves Batman, and even more so this summer. All right.
Yes.
And I guess we'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, everyone.
Bye.